This is Talk Business and Politics with Roby Brock.
And welcome to the program. I'm Roby Brock. We are glad to have you with us this Sunday morning. You may not have known it, but there was a time when Oaklawn Racetrack in Hot Springs was near the end of its rope, but something turned it around. Joining me to talk about his latest story in the magazine edition of Talk Business and Politics is Talk Business and Politics contributor Rex Nelson. Welcome to the program.
Roby, good morning. Thanks for having me on.
Good to have you with us. Let's talk about this magazine article that you've written for us. Set the stage for me. It's 1998. Some officials from Oaklawn are up in the northeastern part of the country, and they are doing what?
Absolutely. They are trying to save their racetrack. That's what they are trying to do. You know, when I was a young sports writer in the late 1970s and early 1980s, it was really a golden age for Oaklawn Park. But then we had the proliferation of casino gambling around Arkansas. It took off in Mississippi, of course, with the Tunica gambling phenomenon, Louisiana, Indian-fueled casinos over in Oklahoma, and suddenly, as gambling proliferated in the early 1990s, the track began to hurt. And in 1998, Eric Jackson, who's the general manager of Oaklawn Park, Bobby Geiger, who worked with him there, went to what can best be described as a secret meeting on an island out in the Chesapeake Bay to discuss maybe this new concept called instant racing, which was a video game in essence that would take archived old races and allow people to bet on those races as if they were being run in real time.
And it turned out to be a big salvation for the track, also aided by the fact that electronic games of skill, which are basically some of the casino-style games that we see, came along a couple of years later. How did all of that turn it around for Oaklawn?
Well, they first started putting in the early 2000s these instant racing terminals in the grandstand, and they proved to be quite popular. As that grew, in 2005, Oaklawn came to the Arkansas legislature and asked for permission for these so-called games of skill. Not the straight slots that you see in Mississippi or Louisiana, but video, poker, video, something that supposedly blackjack took a bit of a skill. Well, that took off, and here we are a few years later, actually more than a decade later, and we see Oaklawn in, I think, a new golden age, much like the late 1970s and early 1980s, due to those games.
A lot of the winnings from those, a lot of the money that's generated from those games goes into the purses for the horse racing, which has made Oaklawn much more attractive, and it's why we've seen some of the, really the national thoroughbreds come through here.
Oh, absolutely. Oaklawn has become a bit of an anomaly because horse racing is hurting all across America. There are fewer tracks now than there were 10, certainly 20 years ago. Meanwhile, though, because of the tremendous success of these games of skills, Oaklawn keeps increasing its purses. There have already been 2 purse increases this year, and now it's got one of the highest purse structures in the country. Fewer tracks, but Oaklawn is now a much bigger fish than it was back in 1998.
All right, he's Rex Nelson. You can catch his great work in our current edition of Talk Business and Politics, which you can learn more about on our website. That story is out there, that feature story that Rex is talking about. Rex, thank you so much, and it's a great, great read.